I hope you enjoy watching the world premiere of the play we produced last month. The video is a bit of a rough cut. We'd like to use better editing software, but we won't be able to until we can replace your old computer. A donation to our Indiegogo campaign would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
World premiere of Shelley, Frankenstein Unbound. At this time, if you haven't done so already, if you guys can please turn off your cell phones and refrain from taking any videos or flash photography, that would be great. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the show. Thank you.
Polidori. During my lifetime, I created but a single work of lasting note, a vampire novel, the first versed in the English language. It was an inspiration for Bram Stoker, Anne Rice, and others. Yes, I am to be credited or blamed for the creation of the romantic vampire. The idea came to me during a fateful night at the villa of Lord Byron, to whom it was mistakenly attributed. After all, who but the creator of Don Juan and his close circle of the elect could write anything worthy of praise? But ignore my bitterness. In truth, I was a member of that elect, if only for a fleeting moment. My position on the sidelines, and then the afterlife, provided me with a unique perspective. For there was another tale conceived that dark and stormy night at the villa. A tale of pride and ruin, which imbued its central characters and its creator with immortality. You have but to walk outside your door on All Hallows Eve to see that patchwork of dead human flesh brought to life in order to serve the vain ambitions of an insane genius. One word comes to mind: Frankenstein. A name you might attribute to the monster rather than to the doctor. Yet, as the bard wrote, what's in a name? Percy Shelley, the doctor, with a lofty aspiration to create life and beauty, he unleashed a force of darkness. Lord Byron, the dark side of Victor Frankenstein's psyche, which comes to control him as he spirals into madness. The indiscriminate genius who created to exalt himself, only to abandon and curse that which he created. Clairmont, sweet Elizabeth, object of Frankenstein's desire, victim of the monster's vengeance. As a flower beautifies its surroundings with its simple and delicate design, the innocent is that which is easy to understand, but also that which is easiest to destroy. The monster. Intelligent, lonely, confused, yearning desperately for purpose, companionship, and acceptance. Tonight, you will see these characters presented not as they were in the novel, but as they were first known to the young authoress. Her name was Mary Shelley, and this is her tale. Not the one she wrote, but the one she lived.
There's a ghost in the graveyard tonight.
No ghost, I'm afraid, but nonetheless, I will possess you.
You will not. I'll not be ruined by someone who smells of gunpowder and others I do not recognize. Have you been in a war?
What an awful thought.
I would think so. I'd feel compelled to speak to my father about you if I thought your professed beliefs toward violence were so fickle.
Never. I've experienced enough of it already. However, I confess, I was lavishing my attentions on another mentor, Professor Lind.
Part of our study required the use of combustion, hence the smell.
Oh, Percy, only gods can make fire. Everyone knows that.
And only by their will do our limbs move. Name us then Prometheus reborn, for Lind and I have stolen fire.
Percy, did you?
Caused dead frogs to move through the power of galvanism? Yes.
Did they hop all about the study and wild abandon?
Oh, that would be a sight, wouldn't it? I dearly wish they had. There was a reaction, nothing more than a twitch. Oh, but Mary, it was wonderful. Do you think me wicked for saying so?
Creating life isn't wicked. For certain, it's a better goal than destroying it.
You are capable of creating a whole perfect being within yourself, a process which we men are unable to recreate. As a woman, you are the natural alchemist.
You dismiss the contribution of your own sex to the equation. It requires the sum of two parts to equal the whole.
Yes, true. I would not mind if you added me to the sum and see what our two parts create.
You are a married man.
And you do not believe in marriage. You think it a form of bondage, remember?
Just as she did.
And my father, and yourself. Yet each of you, of your own free will, have entered into the very union you despise. There has to be a reason.
Many reasons. My father and I held each other in mutual contempt, and I was eager to escape.
She was in trouble, and I was convinced that marrying her would save her from it.
And am I not yet another girl in trouble, with whom you fancy yourself in love?
I was young then. In my inexperience, I mistook sympathy for love. The night I met you, however, I loved your mind as much as your form, and I knew I could not live without both.
So you told me. I did not believe you at first. I thought you simply wanted to beg me and were playing upon my sympathies in order to accomplish the task.
You must have thought me a monster.
Not a monster, an opportunist, and a foolish one at that. One who believed I possessed a kind heart and could be moved to sacrifice my virtue on account of pity.
You sell yourself short as usual.
I don't, but it's kind of you to refute me. In order for me to believe the virtue is something, it must be proven.
You have the mind of a scientist, then.
Yes, but I apply empirical technique to matters of the heart. I start with the bleakest of assumptions, because that seems the safest to me, and work upwards from there. When I returned to England, your ardor had not waned. Indeed, you seemed all the more wretched with desire. It was then that I began to believe it is sincere.
You truly are a cynic. But now that we've established the sincerity of my love, how are you in trouble? With a father such as yours, are you not better off than most?
My father is a man of principle. He loved my mother very much. He denied her nothing. He has done the same for me. I have no complaints.
I should think not. Though that vulgar shrew he married must be trying to deal with.
I will not refute it. But let's speak plainly. I know you promised to pay my father's debts.
And I would have, had my family not intervened.
Mary, if I've imposed upon you.
No, not at all. Father took it badly, but I know you didn't mean to disappoint. I meant only that you have a habit of trying to rescue people, to your own detriment.
And to yours? Are you truly afraid I will ruin you?
I don't know. Father always taught me there's no such thing as principle, only reactions to circumstance, and that I should abhor anything that tries to sway a person away from their own innate judgment. Yet, he also taught me to reserve my passions for intellectual pursuits. I feel constrained by a man who does not believe in constraints.
Well, that is perfectly natural. You have prepared your mind long enough. Now's the time for stimulation, for which you must venture outside into the wide, grand world.
Percy, I think you overestimate my father's esteem for you, if you think to spirit me away.
I cannot abide Harriet any longer, not even for the children's sake. She's avaricious and simple-minded in the extreme. Besides, she now gives her affections to a young soldier.
Oh, Percy, I'm sorry.
Do not be sorry. I would have thought it healthy for her to take a lover, or several, if she wished.
But her heart only has room for one.
Whereas your heart has plenty of room for all. Your point is she'll not suffer in your absence.
Yes, exactly right. And your father, I'm sure, will understand. He cannot blame you for being your mother's daughter.
It sounds wonderful. Percy, if I'm hesitant, it's only because I love you so fiercely. That is also why I must warn you. I'm not a person for whom happiness comes easily.
Nonsense. You are a child of love and light, Mary. Once you're acquainted with happiness, it shall never leave you.
Where will we go?
How does France sound to start?
Then to Switzerland and everywhere in between.
It sounds splendid. When do we leave?
Now!
Now!
Thank you, Percy. Claire, what are you doing here?
Do forgive me. I did not mean to interrupt so rudely, but you said something about leaving.
Yes, we are, but that is not what I asked you.
Miriam, I have accompanied you to each of these meetings.
Not to be meddlesome, it was the only way that I could excuse your absences with Mother and Father.
That was very kind of you, Claire.
I know what you're thinking, Mary, but I'm not spying for Mother. She shouldn't play favorites the way that she does. I wish I'd been your mother's daughter rather than my own. Then I'd be more like you and Fanny.
No, I'm sorry. I've become somewhat distrustful. I don't blame you for your mother, Claire. It doesn't matter who was born to whom. Fanny is our father's daughter, despite her lack of blood connection, and we have never regarded you as anything but our beloved sister. Take me with you.
I would so love to go on a grand adventure with the two of you. I promise not to be a bother, and am very good at French.
It's true, she is better at it than I am.
I doubt that. Anyway, it might be prudent to have an interpreter with us. However, I'll leave it up to you.
I'd be glad to have you accompany us, Claire.
Thank you, Mary. What about Fanny?
Father would soon be destitute without Fanny to hold everything together. Besides, she's much too practical. Even if she did wish to play the nomad, which I doubt, she would never approve such a trip without meticulous preparation.
And Fanny would not be able to do so without raising her father's suspicions. It's bad enough I'm stealing 2 of his daughters, let alone a 3rd.
Yes, that's true. I shall pack my things at once.
Never Claire.
What?
Anyone else, but never Claire.
Oh, why yes, of course.
Why, of course.
Because sisters are very dangerous things to come to.
You have my word, Mary.
The charming threesome traveled Europe, exploring the castle Frankenstein and the land of Geneva, where Mary's fictional doctor would reside. They did not cease their wanderings until they had not 2 pennies to rub together. Mary arrived at her former home as a pregnant, unwed teenager in love with a married man, and was promptly turned away by her disappointed father. Claire was soon to indulge in a scandal of her own when she acquainted herself with the most famous writer and seducer of that age. Before there was such a thing as rock stars, there was Lord Byron.
Doctor, I'm in a very ill humor. Fix it.
Yes, master, but how am I to do that?
Pills, smoke, tinctures, confounded Polidori. You are the physician.
I should think the easiest solution would be to avoid the source of your anxiety.
Rescind by invitation to Miss Clairmont. I considered it, though I be denied a chance to meet Shelley and the girl. They come packaged in a set, you see, and the world's supply of interesting persons is severely lacking.
Am I not a person of interest? Pray, what is there besides writing poetry that I cannot do better than you?
Firstly, I can hit with a pistol the keyhole of that door. Secondly, I can swim across that river to yonder point. And thirdly, I can give you a damned good thrashing. Here they are, at last.
For a master to degrade his student is a sign that he is threatened. He would not otherwise waste his time. This is true for Lord Byron especially, as a man given to fits of jealousy in place of love.
Oh, it is lovely to see you again.
Yes, I'm sure. Have you done any acting or writing since you last sought out my advice in London?
Oh, no, I'm afraid without your guidance I am at a loss. But I still love the theater with a passion, and I'm eager to return, if it will have me.
This is John Polidori, my physician and friend.
Charmed.
Likewise.
The poet and his muse. Mr. Shelley, I presume? And
Mrs. Shelley.
Mrs. Shelley. Just how many wives do you have?
Do forgive him, he has a wicked sense of humor.
I am very badly behaved, but I do not desire to be forgiven. You see, I get restless when kept indoors. I hope the sky is clear tomorrow to allow for the activities I have planned.
Nothing too strenuous, I hope.
Oh, you used to enjoy physical exertion.
But that was before I acquired a passenger.
Claire, that's wonderful news.
Will Mouse shall have a playmate.
Will Mouse?
Our son, William. He was born early this year.
Oh, you should have told me of the child, Mary. I would have broadened my invitation.
That is kind of you, but Will Mouse is far too small to enjoy a place such as this.
Who is the child's father, Claire?
Is that question rhetorical, or do you truly not know?
Excuse me?
There has never been impropriety between Percy and my stepsister.
6 weeks' travel with any person would lead me to impropriety. You think it is mine, no doubt.
I do not think, I know it.
Indeed, because there was no other.
Precisely.
Would you care to see Byron's menagerie?
Oh, where is it?
They have the run of the house. I should almost call it an aviary, as there's a predominance of birds, ranging from falcons and parrots to herons, peacocks, and Egyptian cranes. But we have mammals as well.
Yes, I brought in a fox last week, and 2 monkeys. The monkeys are charming.
Yes, charming. I must use a ladder when I clean, due to their charming sport. Watch out for the honey badger, the crocodile, the bear, and most of all, lion.
Lion?
Yes, the dog. He's sulking after an incident with the bear. Of all the animals in the house, he's the one most likely to bite.
Wait, may I speak with you a moment?
All right.
Mary,
If you are about to claim undying love for me at first sight, I must warn you of my complete disinterest.
Your knowledge of my character is severely lacking if you think that such a warning would be a deterrent. But that wasn't my aim. I'm merely curious.
About what?
The painter of nightmares, Fusilli. You have his look, only feminine.
He was a close acquaintance of my mother.
I know. From what I've heard, your mother was a radical little hellion. I admire that greatly.
Thank you, I think. I never met her. All I know of her is from her writings.
Well, all I know of you is what I've heard secondhand in London. Something of a scandal.
I was pregnant before Wilmouse. I became very ill. My physician said that stress was to blame. Father was very angry with me. Percy was avoiding creditors. I was alone. But once again, I was the one who survived while another died. My mother died shortly after giving birth to me, you see. My little girl lived for only a few days. Some said I lost her because I wasn't wed to Percy.
Young lady, marriage is overrated. I know this from recent experience. I'm here for the very reason of recovery from a marriage.
You need not lecture. Percy and I are not married. He is still married to another who needs a support.
You introduced yourself with the name of Mrs. Shelley.
Why is that so strange? It prevents too many awkward questions. The woman who legally owns the name is not the one functioning in a capacity of a wife. Not very often, anyway.
Ah, but you see, that is the other side of it. Percy espouses a belief in free love, a philosophy I embrace.
As do I.
Yet, when I assumed Percy to be the father of Claire's child, you insisted that to be impossible.
It is. The child is yours, Byron.
Anyway, it is quite clear the rules Percy has laid for himself. But has he encouraged you to take any other lovers?
Yes. There's a close friend of his who he thought would be a good match for me.
And you no doubt seized upon this opportunity, being that you too were a disciple of free love.
I became pregnant with Wilmouse by Percy.
Ah, yes, it would make it impossible, wouldn't it?
What can I say? Maternal instincts consumed me.
And what about now? Do you think Percy would mind overly much if the two of us were to share a connection?
If I wanted such connection, you'd not say a word against it.
Then surely I must be repulsive to you.
Oh yes, horribly.
They call me wicked. Lady, you know what I'm trying to get at. Just what has Percy done to earn such devotion from one such as you?
He takes me to see scientific exhibitions.
That's his idea of a romantic outing?
Yes, and mine.
A woman for whom science is an aphrodisiac. Well, then you shouldn't be adverse to experimentation.
Master!
What is the meaning of this?
Shelley, I am taking your woman as my own. How do you wish to settle this? With swords or pistols?
Neither. It seems a settled issue to me already.
Provided Mary does not object.
Oh no, it is real. It's all real. A woman impervious to charm, a man impervious to jealousy.
I told you so.
Oh, bless you both. Percy, I would never want to ruin a union such as yours. Love is by far the best of all human virtues, and the two of you are absolutely mad with it.